Hey guys, J77 here doing a actual Super Bowl review. Pretty much not just the Super Bowl, but highlights leading up to the Super Bowl, as well as my thoughts on the game that I saw with a couple of friends of mine. And without further ado, let's just get started. First things first, Super Bowl Boulevard. I thought it was a success. It started out slow, of course, with the tourists and the fans from both teams coming in, but overall, uh, to me, it was a good experience to see. New York really stepped up their game in terms of events, special all things to do, prizes. WFEN also got involved with all the festivities, and overall, as the days went on, it became bigger and bigger and bigger. And when Saturday was here, it was really really big. So overall, for tourist standpoint, and even for New Yorkers, it was actually a big success. Can't say the same with a lot of the local businesses. From what I understand, some hotels and stuff was not really full, which was kind of a little bit surprising. But I think that's because everybody was moving in, and they already had certain things booked. Also, the factor is that a lot of hotels did. Boost up their prices in terms of they stay. So they also may have played a factor in competing and looking for cheaper things outside of Manhattan. So, because I know a lot of people who was here to see the Super Bowl, was going to go to MetLife Stadium, did not stay in New York. They actually went outside the other boroughs for cheaper rates. So that's also played in the factor as many of these major hotels not getting booked as much as they want to. But overall, it was actually pretty good, pretty successful. Now let's head on to the game itself, and I'll put it this way: I'll leave the game for last because I got a lot to say about that. The commercials. I was not impressed by the commercials. I was actually kind of disappointed. There was some good commercials that I was very happy about. The tribute with the soldiers was good. The last one doing the end of the game with Budweiser, which I was kind of wondering when they're going to actually have one of those special Clydesdale horses come in, and they actually did not disappoint me. The one with the puppy, constantly wanted to see the horses. He became friends with the horses at the end. The dog and horses stayed together. I was kind of cute. I liked the Muppets one, which was the only one I actually kind of cared for in the car commercials. Um, and I actually liked it, the one from the very beginning where the father thought he was in this great time machine, and he came back and thought he had seen his son. I actually kind of laughed. It was his neighbor, but he mistook it for his son. He gave him a hug. So those are the ones that stood out to me the most. There was a sketch with Seinfeld and his friend, pretty much reminiscing the old Seinfeld episode. It was okay. I actually enjoyed it, but other than that, I really was not feeling too many of the commercials. First of all, it was the car commercials. Most of them was just bad. I mean, it was just awfully bad. To the point where I was kind of wondering if are they actually in touch with what's going on in today's entertainment world, because um, well, the Muppets I can live with because there's actually a movie coming out, The Muppets Most Wanted, so I wasn't shocked to see them promote it that way. But really, when they see Morpheus, uh, really, I just didn't get it. Um, didn't really care for the beginning commercial where a guy was on this big limo. He's took on Arnold Schwarzenegger, which why he wore his wig, I do not know. But I was very shocked that that actually was there. But the one that really got me angry was TurboTax, because TurboTax had this commercial, and it was pretty much spit in the face of those who teams did not make it to the Super Bowl, saying, you're like one of those guys who wish they was dancing with that girl, but that's not it. It just, to me, I think they were trying to be funny, but in the end, it was just pretty much insulting and a slap in the face that my Jets did not make the playoffs, or the Giants didn't make the playoffs, or any other team who didn't make the playoffs for that matter. So I was very surprised that that actually happened. I was very shocked that they actually made that commercial, and I was very, very disappointed in how that was done. I was done. I felt insulted more than enjoyable. The only good thing about that commercial is one of those commercials that um, it's a one and done commercial. You're never gonna see that commercial again because it was designed specifically for to be shown on Super Bowl and Jeff. But that to me was the worst one out of all of them. It just is. I just didn't care for it. Um, you see my friend in the background there. I'm just get it over here a little bit so that way you see me. Um, Other than that, the things that I did got me pumped up. I'm actually am happy that I saw bits and pieces. Was 24 living of the day. This was talked about for a while, and now it looks like they're there. It looks like from what I'm seeing from the bits and pieces that Fox have done, he's not in the U.S. He's in London. So I'm kind of curious as to how this is going to play out. I'm actually can't wait to see that show. It's been a while. I don't know if they're still making the movie or not, but I'm actually for at least for this time, even though it's going to be pretty much half of what 24 was, because it's not going to be 24 episodes rather than just 20. I think 12 episodes, 12 or 14 episodes. I still can't wait to see it. I want to see Jack Bauer back in action. So those are the things that I've seen. But overall, I wasn't impressed by a lot of commercials. Wasn't even impressed by the movie trailers. I really wasn't. I think there was only one movie trailer I was actually wanted to see was Transformers, and that was it. And even that, yeah, couldn't tell you. So you guys may actually have more fun with the commercials than I did. I just thought it was just underwhelming. But the last one they had before the game was over, that was a classic, and yeah, so that's just me. Now on to the game. This is the game I think everybody pretty much picked Denver to win. Everybody was actually felt that this was going to be the one where he's going to pick that second ring and he can solidify himself as the great ones. And I picked Denver to win. And then the game started, and the moment you saw probably the most weirdest, unusual play, and I believe that Fox announcer said it was the quickest score in NFL history. You knew something was up. You knew they was in trouble. I mean, and that was when they misplayed a snap, and it ended up becoming a safety. And it was kind of a shocker because I don't think that ever happened in, at least that I have seen, in Peyton Manning's career. So I'm like, wow, that this is crazy. But it ended up happening, and what ended up going on was that it just stunned a lot of people. It was like this was quick. People didn't expect it. And how it makes it even more ironic is that we just turned on the TV because we didn't see the pregame festivities. I can care less about it. But once they turn it on and once we saw the game start, that's when you saw the safety and it's like whoa, okay. But you know, in your own heart, you say okay, this is they just nervous. They'll get it together. That never happened. It never happened. Seattle just killed them. 43 to 8 was the final score. It was just basically a disaster. It was a pure disaster. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't think that that Manning was gonna be able to score at all. They really didn't. They really was bad in terms of getting that game together. It was just really bad. And most of it wasn't even Peyton Manning's fault. The defense in Denver played terrible. The scoring drive was just almost non-existent, and you know it was bad when you have Peyton Manning, one of the great quarterbacks uh, in NFL's time, at least in our era, didn't score at all in the first quarter, and he only had the ball for I think only about 5 6 minutes tops. Seattle had that ball the almost the entire quarter, and it was just telling. And then when I saw that, I think, wow, this is not looking good at all. And you was hoping that the second half will be good, but it just gotten worse. I'll put it this way: in the first quarter, this is how this cycle was: safety, um, three and out, and then an interception. And right there, that was all in the first quarter, and it was just almost like, wow, I hope they're going to wake up. I hope they're going to get back together. I hope they're going to get back together to wake up. Second quarter comes along. Um, Again, it looked like they're finally getting together, finally getting in tune. What's going on? What's happening? And then something went. Something happened that completely. It completely. If I will say was the was the game of that was the play of the game. Um, it was a reflection, which later on became an interception. Ran right back in for a touchdown. And right there, you're saying, okay, this is now bad. This is now really, really bad. Before the first half was over, they missed a fourth down. They was going to go for it. They didn't get it, and that pretty much prevented them from going to score. The first half, they was already down 22, 22 to nothing, and it was just. uh, Can this guy come back? I mean, I know they said he had came back from games back before, but can he actually come back? We really didn't know. The halftime show, I almost missed the halftime show because normally I don't really care about the halftime show, but I believe Bruno Mars, he actually was pretty good. I actually enjoyed his performance. It's probably one of the better performances I've seen in some time, and I really dig seeing Red Hot Chili Peppers. I'm actually a big fan of Red Hot Chili Peppers. They were singing "Get It Away" and came out shirtless. I give him that. I mean, even though the temperature was just right for football, that was the one major gripe everybody had in New York all month long. They're saying the weather this, the weather that. People don't want to come out in the freezing cold. It was close to 50 degrees. It became 46, I believe, as a low as the day, as the hours went down. But it was perfect football weather. So everybody was pretty much happy about that, and the crowd was into it. So so there was really no real complaint about the weather. And you was hoping that maybe once the halftime was over, that Denver would start making some noise. It would stop Seattle, and then we'll see um, the Peyton Manning lead his team to a comeback victory. That never happened. And the moment you saw this play, you know this game was pretty much was out of Denver's reach. Um, Kickoff, return for a touchdown. The moment they got the ball back, they scored a touchdown, and that pretty much wiped out any kind of life this team had going forward. That was pretty much the nail in the coffin, in my opinion. It was over. It was 22. It made 29, and things just gotten worse and worse. Seattle just basically scored every chance they get. They could not stop Seattle from scoring. The defense just I don't even know what it was tackling, but they just made them look like they didn't belong in the Super Bowl. That's how bad it was. And it was kind of ironic because Peyton Manning, even though he did turn over the ball a few times, he still wasn't really sacked. But it's just that it's just been one bad situation after another. And before you know it, Seattle pretty much before the fourth quarter was already won. After a while, none of us really paid much attention to the Super Bowl. We was more concerned about politics than anything, if anything else. But it was a one-sided game, and that's when. After the pretty much middle of the third quarter, where the fans started to be quiet because the game was already over. Once we reached the fourth quarter, it was just basically killing time. It was just that bad. After a while, I was saying, look, just let them score one more point because it's getting really, really, really tough to watch. They managed to do that. They managed to to score a touchdown, which I was kind of worried it was not going to do, but they ended up scoring a touchdown and ended up scoring a 2-point conversion, making it getting them 8 points. But that was all they got. That was it. It was just that bad, man. It was just that bad, and to me, I was very disappointed because I expected it to be a close game. If Denver was to lose, which it was a possibility they could have lost because Seattle is a great team, they deserve to be there. I expected it to be close. I didn't expect it to be like this. It was just it stunned me, and I picked the Denver, and I was just stunned. Uh, Peyton, from the very beginning, looked at very frustrated, especially with the fact that they kept him off the field almost the entire first quarter. I mean, that was something that I never thought I'd see happen. They kept him off the field. They made him very uncomfortable, and you can tell they was making him uncomfortable when because the fact is they kept coming at him. Even though they never sacked him, the fact that it was in his face was all they need. Is when he got the time to throw the ball is when he was actually most effective. There were times where I'm like, okay, they're definitely not trying to cover him this time. But again, he just could not get a momentum. The momentum was not there, and it was very evident from the very first few seconds of this game. So Seattle ended up coming up victorious. Um, Congratulations to those guys. They definitely deserve it. I'm more happy for Pete Carroll winning a Super Bowl ring here, and the reason is that he used to be uh, a Jets coach, and he was unceremoniously booted out of here. I thought that was a bad move from the late George, Hess, Mr. Hess, and we end up getting him all worse a coach than what he was. At least he won 6 games, and a team had room for improvement. When Coach I came in, he only won 4 games during the 2 seasons he was here. So it wasn't until we finally got Parcells that we started to get back up on our feet. But the point is that he was always labeled as a good coach. He coached New York, he even coached New England. In England, he rolled out his welcome with them because they fired him. I think after 4 seasons. Went back to college, became a very well standing college coach. Then came back and coached again for Seattle, and you know what? He has done a tremendously good job. And I got to tip my cap to the guy. I'm very, very happy that he actually got a ring now on his finger and can say, "Look at me now! I finally accomplished something." Um, so Seattle, they deserve it. There's no question about it. They was the better team. They played like a better team, but most importantly, they played like a hungry team. This team was very hungry, and it showed when they played because they was aggressive from beginning to end. They was very, very aggressive. Um, as for Peyton, I don't know what to say. I'm not. All the blame can't go to him. I know a lot of the haters. A lot of them is going to try and say, see, this is why he's not considered that great because he can't get it done when it matters. Look, I'm going to say it like this. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks I've seen. I don't think anybody has an argument that if he's healthy, they want him to guide the offense, hands down. Um, and look, he made it to the Super Bowl 3 times. Granted, he only won one, but that's something that many quarterbacks in this sport right now can say. And if he would have won it, he pretty much would have done something that no other quarterback have done, won the championship 2 rings. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, as we know. But to me, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. His numbers cannot be denied. His performance as a quarterback and as a leader cannot be denied. And I think that he has nothing to be ashamed of. To me, I'm not posting all the blame on him. Yeah, there were some mistakes he had made, but I was kind of surprised at how the defense did not show up in this game. The defense, it was almost like they was playing two-hand touch at one point, and it was just very, very bad. And to me, they are just as much the culprit as what it is right now. So there's my feeling on that issue. Overall, Super Bowl was actually pretty good. It was entertaining. I had fun, but I will admit, once it was in the middle of the third quarter, I started tuning it out because the game was already over. The game was done. They needed when they had down to the next quarter down so many points. I said they need a miracle. They need to score like 5 touchdowns and hope they can do it within a short span, and that was not going to happen. So again, and very disappointing in that situation. In terms of, I wanted to be more of a competitive match, but I'm going to sit here and say I was mad and regrettable? No, I had an enjoyment of watching the game. I thought the coverage, play-by-play coverage on TV from Fox's end was pretty good, and overall, it did make for a very entertaining game, and the fans was in it for the first 2.5 quarters. They were really much in it, but once it was dead, even though nobody walked out, because let's be honest, you're not walking out from almost a $2,000 to $4,000 ticket. But it was very clear that there was not going to be no comeback that a lot of people was hoping for, because the announcers did said that they have a chance to make a comeback. The announcers did said that Peyton can do it. He's done it before with San Diego. Well, you know what? This ain't San Diego, and his defense is not stopping him, and that was the big hurt. Doesn't hurt it either. That does hurt the factor that you have only clinic 8 points on the show for your name. But the point was, Seattle played better. Seattle was more hungrier, and they won. End of story. That's all I got to say. Um, Overall, and I'm tired, by the way, so do you forgive me. Overall, and I think they're getting a movie together, so I'm gonna cut this short now, like I'm 20 minutes. Overall, not the greatest of Super Bowls in terms of scoring, in terms of strategy, but it was still entertaining one nonetheless. I was not disappointed. I thought the halftime show was very, very good. I was very surprised I actually like it, especially when I had not planned to see it. But we have two floors that's watching the Super Bowl, and one guy had at the halftime show, so I had to go back downstairs and watch it here. And I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed seeing Salt and Pepper, Red Hot Chili Pepper perform. So overall, it was good. Could have been much better in terms of the competitiveness, but in all, I enjoyed myself. It was fun, and you know what? Both teams, you give 'em my respect. Seattle, congratulations for your first championship. This was your second appearance in the Super Bowl, but this was the one that a lot of people hold on to. Um, with a city that's really the sports team has been on the decline lately, this is a big shot in the arm for them of saying, look, we got one. We end of discussion. um, that's it, guys. I'm getting tired. I want to fall asleep here. So I'll leave it up to you guys. What you thought about the Super Bowl? Did you enjoy it? Did you didn't enjoy it? Was it disappointing? What you thought about the commercials? Did you thought it was good, or was it disappointing? But just give me your feelings on it. Let me know in the comment section below. So then, J77 saying, take care, be safe. I'll talk to you soon. Good night.